السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Before I begin, if I could please ask the brothers and sisters to move forward, fill in the gaps. Jazakumullah khair. إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to Him belongs all praise. We praise Him because He is worthy of praise, and His worthiness of praise comes from His beautiful names and attributes. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us see those names and attributes and learn them and implement them in our daily lives. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the evils within ourselves and from the evil consequences of our actions. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the followers of our dear beloved Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Prophet of mercy, the one who was sent during or close to the hour, so that he can be the source of mercy and guidance for all of mankind until the day of judgment. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His peace and blessings upon him, upon his family, his companions, and all those who follow them until the day of judgment. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. And we remind one another to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have this taqwa in our hearts, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the muttaqeen. Ameen. Before our Prophet Sallu ala Rasulillah. Before our Prophet ﷺ was given the message, he was a well-established person. He was married to Khadija radiallahu anha, the noble lady who, after losing her first husband, was approached by the elites, the top-notch people for marriage. But she married our Prophet ﷺ. So he had the best wife. And she was a successful businesswoman. And he worked with her. And so he was financially stable. He had 4 beautiful daughters, Zainab, Ruqayya, Kulthum, and Fatima, radiyallahu anhum jami'an. He had what we would call the dream life. It was all there. His reputation in society was stellar. It was perfect. He was a Sadiq al-Amin, the truth one, that one who is trustworthy, the truthful, the one who we can rely on. And he was part of the Hashemite tribe, and his uncle was the leader of Quraysh when he was growing up. He had it all. Anything a person could want in life, he had it. And then one day when he is worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Ghar Hira, on top of that mountain, unexpectedly, a person comes in and shocks him, scares him. And the first verses come down, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. And Jibreel comes and tightens his grasp on our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If he wasn't scared enough, he became more frightened. Iqra, read, recite. And the Prophet ﷺ says, I don't know how to read. I'm illiterate. And he squeezes him again and increasing the fear. He says, Iqra, recite. He says, I don't know how to. And then Jibreel says, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, خلق الإنسان من علق. اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. And reveal the first verses of the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ did not expect something like this to happen. He did not know what was going on. And in some narrations, when he descended the mountain, Jibreel calls him from above. He looks above and he sees Jibreel in his actual form. To increase the fear, to increase his emotional situation, to intensify it. The Prophet ﷺ did not expect that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comments on this, and He says in this end of Surah Al-Qasas, وَمَا كُنْتَ تَرْجُ أَن يُلْقَى إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ. You weren't expecting the book to be revealed to you. إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ. However, it's a mercy for you and all of mankind. He did not expect it. But when he was told, commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَأَنذِرْ عَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ قُمْ فَأَنذِرْ. Get up and proclaim. Call your people. Tell them they're responsible for La ilaha illallah. And they're responsible for leaving the ways, their traditions, their adulterated theology. Leave it and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. This idea of tribalism that is taking you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that needs to go. So that it doesn't prevent you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what was the result? When he stood up on Safa, and he said, well, sabaha, he called his people, said, there's something urgent that you need to hear. And he said, oh my people, if I were to tell you that there's an army gathering behind this mountain, would you believe me? They said, we don't know you to lie. He said, then know, inni nadhirun lakum bayna yaday adabin shadid. Then know that I am warning you. I am a warner to you before a tremendous punishment. And Abu Lahab, there, he said, Tabban lak, alihada jama'atana. Woe to you. He made a dua against the Prophet ﷺ. May you perish. This is what you gathered us for? I'm busy with my business. This is what you gathered us for? And as you see, the people's perception of the Prophet ﷺ changes. He loses his wealth. He loses his prestige. He loses his place in society. His life of comfort changes to a life of difficulty. All this because of what? Something he didn't ask for. And that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choosing him to be the prophet. Sometimes, my dear brothers and sisters, we are put in a situation out of our reach, out of our hands. It's not our choice. We are put in a situation and that causes us anxiety. It causes us pain. And for the youth, when they go to school and they are a Muslim, they are brown, and that causes them to be seen as inferior to others. It creates obstacles for them. It creates anxiety. They start questioning, why does it have to be this way? Why couldn't Islam be something else? When the parents deal with their youth who are trying to live a Western life, and the parents are struggling in teaching them Islamic principles, and it causes the parents anxiety, they might ask themselves if Islam was just a little bit more lenient. If only this wasn't haram. If only this was halal. It causes anxiety. And likewise, look at the Prophet ﷺ. It caused him anxiety. Look at Maryam alayha salatu wassalam. Look at what she says as she's giving birth to Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. Ya laytani mittu qabla hadha wa kuntu nasiyan mansiya. If only I were to just die before this. If only I had died before this. I know carrying this child to my people, they are going to accuse me of the worst accusation. They're going to accuse my honor. That is going to ruin my reputation. It is going to ruin the reputation of my father, of my mother. And that's exactly what happened. قالوا يا مريم لقد جئت شيئا فريا يا أخت هارون ما كان أبوك امرأ سوء وما كانت أمك بغيا. Said, Ya Maryam, we don't know you to be like this. Your father wasn't this evil person. Your mother isn't known to be a prostitute. So what she was concerned with is exactly what happened. And she felt, if only I were just to die. Not just die, to be a memory, not even a memory. For me to be erased from existence, even from people's memories. Sometimes we are put in situations beyond us. We are born into a situation. We are forced into a situation. And our religion seems to be a source of anxiety for us. But no, my dear brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not unanswer this concern. He counsels the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam in verses that are so powerful, so beautiful, you need to think about them. Reflect upon these verses in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, طه ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى إلا تذكرة لمن يخشى تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات العلى الرحمن على العرش استوى له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وما بينهما وما تحت الثرى وإن تجهر بالقول فإنه يعلم السر وأخفى الله لا إله إلا هو له الأسماء الحسنى. Powerful verses. Reflect upon them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Taha, we did not reveal this Quran to you so that it causes you stress. We did not reveal this Quran to you so you can be anxious, for you to become depressed. That's not it. إِلَّا تَذْكِرَةً لِمَنْ يَخْشَى. However, rather it is a reminder for people who have emotions. The Quran talks to the heart. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His infinite wisdom created us with emotions, among which is anxiety. It is there for a reason. It plays a role. But it's about unlocking how we can use that to bring about a greater good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not reveal the Quran so that we become depressed and miserable. Rather, He revealed the Quran so that He takes those emotions and gives you peace and tranquility. The role of the Quran isn't to tell you haram, 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 and to make you inferior in society. That's not the role. It is a reminder for you, my dear brother, my dear sister. إِلَّا تَذْكِرَةً لِمَنْ يَخْشَى تَنْزِيلًا مِمَّنْ خَلَقَ الْأَرْضِ وَالسَّمَاوَاتِ الْعُلَى. Who is the one who sent this down? The one who created the earth and the heavens. Look at them. Is it not organized? Is it not fascinating? How much knowledge can these two entities offer us? Millennia, we have been studying the universe, yet every day we are discovering new things. The one who created that and placed every single object in a proper place for us to learn and to be fascinated by. Do you think when He revealed this Quran, He did not reveal each and every single verse for us to be fascinated by? Do you think He revealed this halal and this haram for us to become depressed or for us to become amazing? He did not reveal this Quran to make us depressed. Rather, He is the one who put everything in order, part of which is the Quran. He revealed it at a time where it was crucial for us. And look at how it spread. Look at how it took people who are weak, people who are poor, people who are oppressed, and made them leaders, kings, and a generation like none other. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has been revealed from the one who created the heavens and the earth. تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات العلى الرحمن على العرش استوى. The Rahman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the benevolent, the compassionate, is above His throne, meaning He is governing this universe with His mercy. And therefore, when He revealed this Quran, as we said in the previous verse in Surah Qasas, إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ, it was revealed out of mercy. It was not revealed to create depression. It was not revealed to create anxiety. It was not revealed to make our lives more difficult. But if you can unlock the treasures of the Quran, you will find the mercy. If you were to reflect upon the verses, you will take from that mercy. And look at the Prophet ﷺ. Was there anyone happier than him? Was there anyone, or were there anyone happier than the prophets? They achieved the greatest achievement of this life. They found happiness. Their companions, their followers, those who applied their religions and their teachings found happiness. And look at the Prophet ﷺ. Was he ever not smiling? Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Was he ever not smiling despite the attacks, despite the criticism, despite the challenges that came with this Quran? Absolutely not. He was always smiling because he unlocked it. He unlocked the treasure of the Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala governs this universe with His mercy, and look for His mercy. Look for it. It's there in your life, my dear brothers and sisters, but we don't look for it. We are so distracted by our worldly affairs that we don't take the time to actually look at the mercy which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Sometimes it's right in front of us, but we don't see it. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ar-Rahmanu ala al-arsh istawa lahu ma fi as-samawati wa ma fi al-ard. To Him belongs everything in the heavens and in the earth and everything under the earth. Subhanahu, everything under dirt. وَإِن تَجْهَرْ بِالْقَوْلِ فَإِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ السِّرَّ وَأَخْفَى. If you speak out loud, if you call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you have a concern and you need help and you call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, know that He hears the loud voice and He hears the soft voice. He hears the whisper to let you know, Ya Rasulullah, O reader of the Quran, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there listening to every single thing you say. So if you have a concern, take it up with Him. How can we be anxious? How can we suffer from anxiety when the one, the ultimate authority above His throne, governing this universe with His mercy, listens to every single thing we say? Regardless of time, regardless of place, regardless of person. If someone calls Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He listens. He hears and He responds. So if you are dealing with something that is bothering you, O parents, with your kids, you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listening to your concerns. My dear youth, young individual, if you are going through troubles in school, you are dealing with your desires, the opposite gender, and that's causing you problems, remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears exactly what you say. So call upon Him. Allahu la ilaha illahu lahul asma'ul husna. There is nothing worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To Him belongs the beautiful names. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if He has the beautiful names, those beautiful names are manifested in His creation. In the Quran you'll find that beauty. In the natural world around you will find that beauty. So if you are dealing with anxiety, look for that beauty, you can find it. It's right there in front of you. It's all around us here in Southern California. Look for it and counsel, alleviate that pressure in the heart, that pain in the heart, alleviate it. Look for the beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because He is the most beautiful. My dear brothers and sisters, if this concept is a little bit abstract, it's not easy to digest. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues in this chapter and gives us a beautiful example. He tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he tells the reader, وَهَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ مُوسَى. Have you not heard of the story of Musa alayhi salam? Have you not listened to it? Who in the history of mankind has gone through more hardship than Musa alayhi salam? If you think you are going through tough times, look at Musa alayhi salam. If you think your life has been tough, look at Musa alayhi salam. For from the day he was born to the day he died, he was dealing with hardship after hardship after hardship, and the Quran acknowledges that. He was born in a year where Pharaoh was killing the children, the boys of Bani Israel. And he had to be put in the casket. And then he goes to Pharaoh's home. He lands there, subhanAllah. And he is raised in the home of the biggest tyrant and one of the wealthiest. And therefore, not only is he dealing with this tyrant who is oppressing his people, he's dealing with the luxury that comes with living in such a household. Test after test. He is separated from his family. And when he becomes a young adult, he accidentally gets into a fight with a soldier and kills him. And then he has to leave. He is exiled, he has to leave and further be disunited from his family, from his people. And then he suffers from hardship. He is thirsty, he is hungry. And 10 years he spends away from his family, and those who have felt a homesickness know how hard that is. And then when he finally decides to go back to Egypt, that's it? Okay, you went through enough? On his way back, another hardship. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, go and talk to Pharaoh. The person he ran away from, go and talk to him. Subhanallah. Hardship after hardship. And don't think the dispute between Pharaoh and Musa was just a few days or a few months. It was decades. Decades going back and forth with the greatest tyrant in history. And then after he is destroyed, Pharaoh, and he leaves, he has to deal with his people. And look what they did. And he had to live in a life, the last few decades of his life, for the last few years, he had to live in the desert, roaming around. Hardship after hardship after hardship. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Taha, in the series of verses, acknowledges this. وَفَتَنَّاكَ فُتُونًا. Fitna after fitna. Test after test. But what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say after that? وَاصْطَنَعْتُكَ لِنَفْسِي. I made you for me. Meaning all of these hardships that you went through, it wasn't in vain. It wasn't without purpose. It wasn't without vision. These hardships made you Musa alayhi salatu wassalam. The most mentioned name in the Quran. One of the most praised individuals in human history. How many people on earth today celebrate Musa alayhi salam? Look at how much detail his story is given to us in the Quran. Don't think, Ya Musa, that all that hardship was in vain, was for no reason. Don't think, Ya Rasulullah, the struggles that you are going through is in vain. You will eventually become Rasul Rabbil Alameen, the messenger of Allah. You will eventually become the greatest human being to set foot on this earth. Your people will eventually come the greatest ummah, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the greatest nation. So my dear brother, my dear sister, if you are going through hardship, especially that has to do with your religious hardship, with the religious aspects, don't think that's all in vain. Rather, everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees for you is meant to raise your status in the next life and in this life. But it's about embracing that. It's about internalizing it and living it. It's about recognizing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not test an individual except to make them stronger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not exile Adam alayhi salam from paradise because He just wanted to punish him, but rather He exiled him so that Adam alayhi salam can learn and become better and re-enter paradise in a better state. So if you're going through a hardship, if you're going through anxiety, remember Musa alayhi salam. Remember your Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and don't think what you are going through is in vain. And don't think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not helping you every step of the way. So when Musa alayhi salam was put in the home of Fir'aun, who was there helping him? Asiyah radiyallahu anha. The noble woman Asiyah was there taking care of Musa alayhi salam. She interceded with Fir'aun to make sure he doesn't kill him. And this pious woman, as the Prophet ﷺ said, 4 women perfected their iman. One of which is Asiyah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put her in the life of Musa alayhi salam to take care of him. And when Musa alayhi salam was killed, when Musa alayhi salam killed the guard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him someone to say, Musa, run away, they're coming after you. He sent him help. And when he was in the desert going towards Madian, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him that lady so that she can know Musa and take him to her father. And Musa alayhi salam was given a home and was given marriage. And when Musa alayhi salam was given the obligation to talk to Fir'aun, he made the request, give me my brother to help me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered that. And he gave him every step of the way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was with Musa alayhi salam. And you, my dear brother and sister, need to look for that in your life. There is no hardship that you go through except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent you something to help you out. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us realize that and look for it. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made an obligation upon the Muslims during the 9th year of Hijrah to go meet the Romans in a city called Tabuk. And it was in the summer. And it was a hot summer. And it was a tough time for the companions. Between Medina and Tabuk is probably around 800 miles. And they had to leave their families, they had to leave their homes, and go meet the strongest superpower of that time. And you could say, well, why didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this easy for us? Why didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it in the winter? Or make it a cooler summer? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds to this concern. And He says, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ لَا يُصِيبُهُمْ ظَمَأٌ وَلَا نَصَبٌ وَلَا مَخْمَصَةٌ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ ولا يطؤون موطئا يغيظ الكفار ولا ينالون من عدو نيلا إلا كتب لهم به عمل صالح إن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين. That these companions, Allah tells them, you do not feel any thirst, any hunger, any fatigue. You do not take a single step for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except that Allah is writing it down for you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not waste, He does not erase, He does not neglect even one small good deed. So if you are struggling, my dear brother or sister, for whatever reason, and you are trying to uphold your religious duties, for the sister who has to wear the hijab and people are looking at her and she is concerned for her safety, for the parent who's concerned over their children, for the child who's concerned of their parents, know that you do not feel a single ounce of stress except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is writing it down for you and it is reward. But we as Muslims have to do something. And this is important. And the Prophet ﷺ says this in a reliable hadith narrated by Imam Ahmad. The Prophet ﷺ says, من كان همه الآخرة جمع الله شملا وجعل غناه في قلبه وأتته الدنيا وَهِيَ رَاغِمَةٌ. Whoever makes their main concern the next life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather all of their situations. He will fix it for them. He will make their hearts content. And the world will come to them. Not they have to go after the world. And in these stories of the companions, we see this at the end of the Prophet ﷺ's life. So my dear brother, my dear sister, if you are going through anxiety, if you are going through a hardship, and we are all going through some sort of difficulty, some sort of challenge, remember that you don't go through a single hardship, a single ounce of stress, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending you help to deal with that, and is rewarding you for your patience. But we need to focus our mind on the greater goal, the next life. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us people who are more concerned with the next life than this life. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات يا رب العالمين. اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا، واصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا، واصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا، واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير، واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر. We have a few announcements. We encourage you to help the masjid by donating. Any small amount or large amount is very much appreciated and rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make dua for Safa Zaido, who passed away in Germany, and also make dua for Saina Uran Yazid, who passed away in Pakistan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them, to overlook any shortcomings. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept their good deeds and increase them in that. The annual Muslim Single event is on March 17th at the Mission Viejo Community Center for ages 22 to 45. It will be moderated by myself and Brother Omar Ashmawi. Registration is required, so please see the office or look at it online. Pillars Academy is making fresh crepes and other baked goods. Kindly stop and support them. Also buy your tickets for the school carnival, which will be held on March 30th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tickets are sold at the entrance at Pillars Academy. The Shura Council banquet is on March 16th. The OCIF Quran program is tonight at 4:30. The MyOC program is tonight from 6 to 7:30. Aisha prayer. Just today we have a little bit of a conflict in terms of the youth leaders. Sheikh Hamid Faqih will be doing the youth program today. Up until Aisha prayer, Aisha is at 7:30. And the Sahaba series on Tuesdays after Isha prayer will be given by myself next week, inshallah, and the companion will be Safiya bint Abdul Muttalib, the aunt of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Welcome to Salah.